Let's foil some players using the monster serve Hefty Forehand style in the Tour 7 of Tennis Clash, a sports game published by Wildlife Studios. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 and to turn on the bell if you like this video. So I face a player having monster serve and forehand stats in the two first matches, 80 for the serve and 75 for the forehand. That's pretty colossal. Those two matches can show you why it's hard to win matches with that high serve big forehand style in high tour. Well, that's because the Tour 7 opponents generally have higher agility, higher than 80, and most of them will use the choker quartz string, which allows to catch more easily monster serves and to return hefty forehand strokes. Plus, Tour 7 opponents generally know well how to counter the high serve style, so that's quite tricky. So that's why I was losing almost 350 trophies while practicing with that monster serve style in Tour 7 the last time. As you have seen in my previous training video with that style, and even for serve experts, it's not easy in Tour 7. So imagine a player who is not at all a specialized server like me. I was lucky to beat mainly players who didn't put the choker quartz on when I was training with that high serve style. So I had an agility of 84 at the time I was playing those two matches. I have 86 now, and 84 was enough to catch the 80 serves without much difficulty. But I was training during my previous training session with that style versus a lot of Kaito opponents having 89 or 92 agility. So you can easily imagine how easy that was for them to return my 76 serve during my last training session. Plus I don't know how to serve fast, so it was pretty easy for them. So my opponent was playing with the Gucci string in those two matches, which is a very good string for high serve big forehand players. I have tested it in the previous Gucci Open. So I know it's a male player because we have already discussed together on Gameplay 365. His main problem is his accuracy. He doesn't serve very accurately, and his forehand strokes are not more accurate neither. You will see a lot of unforced errors in the two matches. You have seen already in the first match, of course. If you give this lineup to a serve specialist like Foszi, Shoni, or Serenity, I think the outcome of the two matches might be different. So my opponent was hitting some nice forehand winners, triggering the Gucci string critical tier 3 perk. I just applied the normal strategy to counter monster serve hefty forehand players, which consists on returning as much as possible on their backhand because they generally have a weaker backhand when they have put a lot of points on the serve attribute. And then I route them to the spot by hitting on their backhand several times before hitting their forehand's corner to outflank them. However, because it's more important to avoid making forced and unforced errors than to return on their backhand at all costs, sometimes I just return the ball towards secure spots, not trying to target his backhand. So my opponent was committing a lot of double force on his serves, as you have seen. He was trying to serve as fast as possible and not with precision, and I would have served more slowly and in the service box on my second serve rather than trying to hit a super fast serve after the first faulty serve. But, well, who am I to judge him on the serve, right? Well, overall, my opponent was committing to many unforced errors in the two matches. He had the stats to annoy me, but could not take advantage of them, due mainly to this lack of strokes accuracy. Okay, so I played the second match versus Shoni, a high serve player who doesn't have a very high forehand stat, but who is a specialist of this style. So the match is going to be much harder. This second match is going to have the same duration than the two first matches. This is just for your information. So as you can see right from the start of the match, I hit on my opponent's forehand to surprise him. That can work because he's expecting me to hit rather on his backhand most of the time. So that's the problem with that strong serve, big forehand style. You are fragile, whether your opponent hits on your backhand or on your forehand. Your backhand is weaker, so you have to anticipate and position your character more by your backhand side of the court, so as to turn around more easily to hit with your forehand whenever your opponent returns on your backhand, right? But, but, by doing so, you will have a hard time when you have to run and catch a return on your forehand. You will be surprised because you are farther from your forehand side of the court. Remember, you position your character more on your backhand side, so you will be put in a difficult position. And because you have just a decent agility with that style, you will be outflanked if your opponent hits properly on your forehand side, while you were positioned on the other side of the court, waiting and hoping for your opponent to hit on your backhand. So as you can see, I had 3 match points, but then, well, I was making some force errors. Like here, I could have avoided this force error, I think. But anyway, so my opponent started to play better too, making less than force errors, and he succeeded in equalizing. Whenever I had a new match point, he equalized. You're going to see that. That's fun. Bam. Easy, right? So his big problem is going to be the lack of stamina, of course. He didn't choose a string having stamina shield, and his swallow poly string gave him the long catch tier 1 and the critical tier 1, which are useful, of course, for this time, but it's not good, because if the match lasts more than he expects, he will have no stamina left. So he was exhausted by the end of the match. See this orange bar turning to the red on his stamina bar under his name. Well, he could survive thanks to the his good forehand, which is quite accurate, and to his good serve, very good serve. As you can see, 215 kilometers per hour. Excellent serve, because the serve doesn't require any stamina, and this is something which is not normal in Tennis Clash. You should not be able to hit 215 kilometers per hour serves when your stamina bar is really low, you know, in the orange or red zone. But I kept focus. I just knew that it would be very hard for him to win, because I just had to hit a serve on his backhand. I waited for the good moment to serve it, and he returned it into the alley. And well, it was the same thing for the match point. He lacked accuracy due to the very low stamina. So, yep, I won mainly thanks to his lack of stamina. So before the big update of 7th of May 2020, if you had watched my videos where I was upsetting high serve big forehand players, and where I was giving recommendations, I used to recommend to return drop shots whenever possible, or soft shots as close to the net as possible, because those huge servers had low agility, where after the big update, obviously, as you know, it's not possible to apply that recommendation anymore, because drop shots bounce much more than before the big update, and because all lineups have now higher agility. This attribute has been buffed for every characters in a lot of cards. So high serve players can move faster on the court. That makes the drop shots useless. So I don't return drop shots anymore on the serve. And you can note as well that I don't use my cross-court shots much in the matches versus those Monte serve. Hefty forehand players, I just did one. I just hit one, but that's quite rare. That's because their serves and their forehands are already strong, and that would be risky to hit a cross-court shot in that case. I just prefer to return more secure strokes, where I hit cross-court shots whenever my opponent return a weak backhand. And that's why you can see in this third match that I play versus Joe Cuba, who is not a service specialist at all, like me. and who just likes to change his play style now and then, like me. He's rotating between aggressive baseliner with Victoria, counter puncher with Kaito, high serve big forehand with Victoria. But I haven't seen him play with a volley yet. Okay, Chokuba down. A sub and sub. Backs. Because subs love to see those backs happening. So I played the fourth match versus the same opponent than in the two first matches, but this time he had put more points on his backhand and less points on his serve. That gives a bit more balanced lineup. He still has 75 of serve, and I think 75 is way enough if you know how to swipe fast to hit very strong serve. So he was right putting more points on his backhand in my point of view. The problem is that you have to train a lot to hit to be able to hit those strong serves. So he still likes to hit the second serve real fast, even if it's not something which is recommended if you want to avoid making double faults. It's a bit surprising for him to be so kind of stubborn. But overall, you are going to see that he is committing much less unforced errors in this match than in the two first ones. However, I think that he lets the court open too often. Wow, yeah, it was really bad. A bad return there. I should have just controlled it more. That allows me, yeah, by letting the court open too much, that allows me to route him to the spot first, and then to hit the other corner real fast to definitely outflank him. Yep, let's make a slow shot there. Yep, that's it. Well, here, I think that he didn't return to the center of the to the middle of the court quite fast enough. The center. Of course, I kind of drew him to the net, but he could have hit that and then try to return to the center of the court quickly. But he didn't do that. Now flanking. I draw him to the net. I didn't succeed in hitting his backhand, but never mind. With his lower stamina, that was easy to outflank anyway. Just have to be patient at the end of the match. Oh, right, so open this grand bag. So in the fifth match, well, my opponent had 61 of serve because this Victoria decided to put more points on agility, and the 61 of serve is significantly lower, of course, than the serve stats of the previous opponents. But knowing how to serve, that was enough for this Victoria to hit good serves at almost 200 kilometers per hour, even with a 61 serve. Yeah, the match was a bit laggy. And this Victoria was accurate too, which is useful when you play with the high serve big forehand style. That allows her to quickly lead by 3-0. Outflank it, she was. Yep. On some points she could do nothing. So she eventually committed some unforced errors. Which will allow me to yeah, here is not an unforced error at all. It's me outflanking her. Yep, here. So those unforced errors allow me to equalize. And then I just try to play defensive shots that in a way that could be turned into offensive ones. and that worked by the end of the match to give me the advantage, like here. So you have noted that in all matches, because my opponent's backhand is weak in favor of their forehands, which becomes heavy, what I do is I often hit on their backhand whenever the opportunity appears. So I was talking about that by the start of the video, but I'm going to elaborate a bit more here. So afterwards, because their return will be weak from the backhand, what I generally do is I insist a bit first on the backhand to make them think I will keep attacking their backhand and make them try and anticipate a hit coming on the backhand. And then I hit a big forehand down the line towards the other side of the court, down the line or cross court shot, so as to outflank my opponent. And it works quite a lot. So do you remember that before the big update I used to recommend to try now and then to surprise those huge servers having low agility by making a drop serve? Well, of course, after the big update, you can forget it, even if you have big serve. The drop serve is useless after the big update, as I have explained previously with a video on Gameplay 365. And the best you can do to annoy those monster servers now is to hit a slow short serve. Or you wait for them to have very low stamina and then try to hit on their backhand, or sometimes on their forehand to surprise them, like here. I hit an ace even with my poor serve, very low serve, and my poor serve skill. If you see that it doesn't work, you know, to hit slow short serves, well, just serve normally, but wait for your opponents to have low stamina to try to hit on their backhand. You're going to see the lineup that I use most in the video with Kaito. Well, I hope you enjoy watching me foiling monster serve Hefty Forehand players in the 2-7 of Tennis Clash, a sports game published by White Life Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 to stay tuned for new videos of Tennis Clash. Thank you a lot for your support, and see you soon on Gameplay 365. Bye bye.